Well, we're joined now by Advocate Stefanie Fick, Executive Director of the organisation which started as the Organisation Opposing Urban Tolling Alliance, OUTA, now known as the Organisation Undoing Tax Allowance. Stefanie, good evening. Your organisation was formed to stop eTolls. You heard it from the Premier himself. eTolls will fall away. Your reaction?
Excellent news. I think as a team we are delighted. It's positive news. I think we need that. But it's also a time to be thankful for so many motorists that said, you know what, we are not going to be bullied. This scheme does not make sense. It's actually civil disobedience in a democracy. And I think the lesson we've learned is that government should listen when civil society speaks. It's not always about being difficult. It's sometimes really just, we can bring stuff to the table. And if you do not listen to us and continue to, for example, finance a scheme that costs South Africa and Gauteng way more than it should, you're not going to get away with it.
This is also, in a way, a reminder of the importance of consultation. National government always claimed people in Gauteng had been consulted. I live in Gauteng. I was living here during that time in 2007. Trust me, we weren't. There's a big lesson for any government, any provincial or national government in the future.
Yes. Public participation is extremely important. I think we've seen it a lot, that sometimes, it's a tick box. And we've now seen it with the electoral bill as well. It is that if it's just a tick box, they don't take it as serious. And I think this is a lesson. You should. What is sad, actually, is that we have proposed this. When Wayne and the team started in the beginning, this is what they proposed. And maybe the debt wouldn't have been this high if they just listened. What is always sad, and I'm reminded when Wayne says that every time, is that if they've put 10 cents on the levy, petrol levy way back when, then we wouldn't have had this debt. The petrol levy has increased 1,000 times more than that in the meantime. But yeah, alas, here we are. Good news, and I think everybody that has supported this can celebrate tonight that the right thing happened after everything.
Stefanie, there's still quite a few sort of questions around what happens next. I mean, I would suggest that the big failure of eTolls, apart from the lack of public consultation, in my own personal view, was that no one was ever prosecuted for not paying. Plenty of people didn't pay. No one was ever prosecuted. If one person had been prosecuted and found guilty, that would have changed everything.
I actually want to differ from you. I think civil society stood up and said, we will not be bullied. It's the same, they've tried the prosecution. I think they would have been crucified if anybody was prosecuted, and I think they realized that. Plus, can I just add that I think we've got bigger problems than people not paying eTolls in our criminal justice system. And then secondly, they tried the whole civil route will come after you for eToll debt. And that also failed. So it is, again, kudos to the people that stood up and said, whatever is thrown our way, we're gonna stand up and stand against it. I think the biggest problem with this scheme was the fact no public participation. And that, the people that should actually be held accountable is the people that made sure that this upgrade cost us way more than it should have. The upgrade of the GFIP should have been around 10 billion. It cost us 17 billion rand and more. And then that's excluding the fact that the gantries and so forth had to go up. No alternative routes. It is all these things that happened without consulting the public. And then I just have to ask this. Are we still stuck in traffic? Yes. So the upgrade of the roads was supposed to happen, but that's why we pay tax, to put it bluntly. The upgrades of many roads are in any case paid out of the fiscus. The local government roads are atrocious. Those are the ones with the potholes. So we need to again look at how government spends their money and stop, just hammering on the taxpayer to just fork out more and more and more.
Stefanie, there will be people who've been paying eTolls. Now, for many individuals, they might have just factored it in. For some companies who run fleets, they would have wanted to comply with the law. They made a decision to. They'll actually have paid quite a lot of money over the years in eTolls. Do you think there's any chance they'll get it back?
No. No. Unfortunately not. I think the Premier has just said that, there's, of the 47 billion rand debt that is owed, only 6 billion pay, and that is the 17%, 17% of motorists that is compliant. And unfortunately, this was, you decided that you want to abide by this, you want to pay your e-toll debt, and it would be impossible to now say to government, but I've paid this, I want it back. You made a decision, and you have to stick with that decision.
Stefanie Fick, thank you. The Executive Director of the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse, of course, starting as OUTA, the organisation formed to stop urban tolling in Gauteng. An important day in the e-tolling story.